FusionVille is the fifth and final challenge of the Hammer Cup 2017. It was released on runthinkshootlive.com on the 22nd of December. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through each of the entries. There's 17 entries, and as I play through them, I will be outlining what the good things are that have been put in the map, and some of the bad things as well that maybe the mappers need to work on. So hopefully each of the creators can get a bit of feedback, and if you're not a creator or you're kind of new at mapping, you can hopefully learn something from this. So FusionVille is basically, the premise of it is that you had to pick 3 of the previous vills from the Hammer Cups, and you had to pick 3 of them and incorporate them. So we'll go through them and see how good the maps are. Incidentally, I have played before this, so I don't get stuck. So this is FusionVille. First one, the collapse. Alright. So straight off the bat, I've got to say, like, the combat in this section isn't actually that bad. It's just the fact you walk through the door and immediately, oh, there he is. Yeah, immediately get shot at, which I've spoken a lot about this quite recently, and I'll probably speak about it a number of times in this video, so if you get sick of people repeating themselves, you're not going to like this video. But the fact of the matter is, they were all just standing here watching the door, basically. Now, I can understand if we'd come from, like, if this was part of a bigger story, this map, I can understand maybe the Combine knew that I was coming, but it just doesn't seem very authentic at all, and it's not much fun just to walk in and have them all facing you. It's a lot more fun when the Combine aren't looking at you and they're, you know, they're like working on a console or sitting at a table or something like that. And then you can sneakily take them down, and then you can start spawning a few more in and all that. Anyway, this map, I presume, does this count as a chasm? I guess it counts as a bridge. You see, that's the thing. A lot of these vills are actually really good at kind of intertwining, so you can have a chasm full of toxic waste and a bridge over it. There, you've already got 3. That's probably one of the most common ones. Or at least from memory, although I don't actually know what each of the maps' vill themes were, but that's irrelevant at the moment. I'm not really going to be speaking about incorporation of vill theme. Right, so once again we have these Combine soldiers. Now, they actually do fairly well at not just running up to me. Look, like, I can stand here, and one of them probably will, at some point, run straight up to me. No, see, this is good. They're actually not very good at throwing grenades either, allegedly. Yeah, what is that? I don't know, there was a few graphical glitches and stuff like that. Actually, honestly, I played an early access version of this, and there was textures that were missing in a few maps. So it's good to include these exploding barrels. It gives the player another option for taking down the Combine, or any enemy for that matter. Okay, so the space is cramped. It's good that the Combine are holding back, but I felt this area didn't need to be utilized as much as it was. I mean, it's not a, you know, very inspired area in terms of combat. You may think it is. It's not in terms of the combat that we've been doing so far. So I would have said the first battle, the first fight when you came in was good, but then push the player on. Now look at this guy. He initially wasn't looking at the player, which was good. I mean, usually when I say this is good, then usually the thing that I don't want to happen does happen. I'm just trying to get sorted out. Again, this area seems, and I say this in the nicest possible way, it does seem very lazy, just dumping all these cars here. And these cars, you can pump the cars. You can even pump this guy a bit. The issue with this fight is the fact that you've got these grenades. You've got, oh, we've lagged it out. Yeah, you've got that guy. And I think this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like, maybe I'm doing this wrong and I've done it wrong. I did it wrong the last time, but this is what I gather is that you've got to use these grenades, and the fight's not inspiring at all. It's not fun. You know, I don't feel like I'm achieving anything here. It's not intense. It is very counterintuitive. If there was a rocket launcher and if this guy was far off, or at least further off, so if this guy was like driving up and down a street, like, we'll say on top of that ridge, if he was going like over there and over there, and you had a rocket launcher and you had to hit him while he was firing back at you, that's fun. That's the sort of thing players want to be doing. They're the kind of battles that the players want to be having. But this is just deadpan boring, and I don't even know if I'm hitting him fully. Yeah, so that was annoying. So after you've done that, you now have a true boss battle. Well, it's a bit more of a fight than this guy. And you can run back in here, and I think he drops stuff. You know, the mines. Okay, we did get him that one time. I mean, again, I don't think he should be able to go over there, even... You know, even if you think, well, maybe he would be, like, shelling out that area. The point is that I'm supposed to be fighting him as a player. And with him being over there, it's not... You know, where's the interaction? One theory I had was that it's to give the player time to go back in here and refuel up. Now we're going to have to actually find another box. Okay, so allegedly I killed him. I have no idea. I have no recollection of doing that. Overall, that map probably needed more structure. There wasn't really much to actually do in terms of anything else other than fighting the Combine in that big warehouse, and then you had the two kind of main enemies, which could have been cleaned up a lot. Alright, the second entry is called Raid. Now this map was one of the better ones. It wasn't without its flaws, but it had a very clear structure to it. I will outline it. So immediately you can see that we need to, you know, get that plug out of the socket and open up the gate. So you can actually see kind of the end zone here, which is good. So immediately we kind of know our goal. But we obviously we don't have the gravity gun yet. We can't pull that out. We can't shoot it out. We can't use a grenade. It's very, very, very clear. So there's a bit of, I guess, exploration, although this is like, I think, the way you've got to take, because you can't get over there or there. So these force fields play a massive part, and I do like the force fields because Combine can, you know, move through them, but the player can't. And actually that was like, in terms of, you know, the way that Half-Life 2 has been made, that was a really smart invention of Valve, and it's something that you should be including in your maps. Obviously, include it where it's most appropriate, but yeah, that's something instead of like, there's some stupid stuff people do to stop the player from going places. Just use a Combine force field and then you can have Combine running through it. That guy is just random. So there's the ladder. We can go over here. I'm not sure if we're allowed in here. Yeah. To stock up. And you get rewarded for searching. Again, it just makes it feel less linear if you can like look about here. I don't think you can... You could probably jump down there, maybe. I'm not going to try. Now, here. They're not shooting at me. This guy's running. It's actually kind of like a set sequence. They're still not firing at me. I think when I get closer they will start firing, so I can choose to take a shot. See, they're going about their normal business. This is how it should be done a lot of the time. A lot of the time, if this map wasn't well done, I would have come up that ladder and they would have all been facing me and shooting me. But here, I get to pick, at least partially. I mean, I think I can move. We'll just test it. Yeah, here. So I can move up there. I can also move round. I think I can move around there. I think that's what I did the first time I played. But as soon as I shoot them, they start to fire. I'm not sure how it's done exactly in terms of how you'd actually go about incorporating this. I mean, the only way I could think of is like making an AI relationship and making them neutral or friendly to the player, or yeah, I guess neutral. And then as soon as you hit the trigger, destroy the relationship. I don't know. I don't think you can get up there. And notice how they're taking cover. They're not just running up to me. At least the ones with the guns. I think we'll get back there. So this is kind of a maze where you've kind of got to... You can see stuff that you're trying to achieve. So open that, or I think they're like optional or not too important. Well, that one is actually. But you're being led round a very long route. There's places to look. I can't remember. Yeah, there was stuff here. I was going to pick that up with my gravity gun, but I don't have it because we've not been given it yet. And this guy was hidden behind the table. Because usually if you see like a zombie getting up, you can shoot it before it stands up. Like this. Although I missed him the first couple of times. Right, and there's another one. So now we get a clear shot at this because we couldn't over there, and I actually had to walk around to see it. Even the second time, which allows you to do that. We've now opened the first, or the main gate to this area, which is fairly open now. I'm just trying to think, is it this building we go into? I don't know why it's set up like that. But now we're trapped in, so I guess this is like a trap part. And, you know, behind all these desks there's stuff to find and whatnot. And again, this is just to make it not linear. I mean, it is, like, it will... These maps are always linear in the style of your destination is always predefined, but as long as there's places to explore, then it'll be much better. And this guy's just like... I don't know what he's doing. I think we've broken him. Where did... We probably walked right past that guy. Yeah, I guess that's one of the issues of trying to... One of the trade-offs with trying to make the combat slightly better than average. Which it is in this map, absolutely, but also they can get jammed sometimes and all that. They're actually doing like really well ducking behind here, not just running out. At least the ones, obviously the ones with the battens need to run up. That's their purpose. And up we go. Now, we can clearly see that we, I guess, throw that. There's also grenades around here, so if you do happen to mess up the first one, then you should all be fine. And obviously I'm checking behind all these desks because there might be something good. Well, yeah, there's also stuff in here. So I think that when we... Alright. So we've made it outside. Back to the start, I guess. But we've taken on that building. Okay, so here we go again. We've learned the mechanic back there. And we can or try it again. So now we know that that's a thing. Yeah, it's this big building here which caused me a lot of grief the first time. Now we've got the gravity gun. We can go back when this thing's open. We can go back and get through the very, very first gate. So we've got to the tool, but now we just need to use the tool for our benefit. Anyway, at this point, I got completely lost, and I was looking around this like building for ages, and actually, I didn't really notice this bit in here. Oh, that didn't go as I planned. So we can let out these guys. Wait, I've already got that. And so now we can hear. I think it's a chopper. Yeah. And they say head for the horse, which was back at the start. So we've got the sound cue, and we know where we're going, if we can at least remember it. So now we've got this kind of chase sequence where they're you know, shelling us. And we just have to run. So they've blocked off the entrance. Wait, what? Can they just walk? I don't know. But it leads us in an alternative path. We think it's just going to be easy. We think we're just going to be able to run. Of course, we've got the gravity gun. Yeah, I could have probably done that back there. No doubt someone will tell me in the comments that that's what I did, even though I know already I've done it. Probably Cat of War. Anyway, we can now break that, or open it. Now, yeah, this bit, that guy's fairly easy to take down. I think there's another one. There's another few. Now, is that thing going to kill them? Move. It's not an ideal battle, but I guess that's by where we're standing. Oh, gee, there's another one. But there's always somewhere else we can go. It's like the area's big enough that you can find somewhere else to go, so... Okay, so that should be him dealt with. And then this is like the final part of the boss fight. You know, he does it at the end when like things are really, you know, hyping up and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So that was that. So, yeah, basically, just to sum up, because that was quite crazy. Initially have them dropping like one at a time, and then, as it did in that map, drop them all at the final, I guess the final wave. No, that's probably not the right term for it. Anyway, as I said, that was one of the better ones because of the combat. I think the combat was really well done. And the layout of the thing was very intuitive, and a lot of thought was put into the progression of it. Next map is called Takeover.
Hey Gordon, glad you're here. Listen, the Combine set up a base nearby. It's located on the opposite side of this canyon. They're keeping some of our men as prisoners. You seem pretty well suited to go rescue them, but I'd be careful. I don't think the Combine will be too happy with you going down there.
Okay, so a bit of narrative at the start. I think the basic premise of it that there's people who have been captured, rebels that have been captured by the Combine. So here, immediately we can see the area that the map's taking place in. We can see down there that that's where we're going to be. I think that's kind of the furthest out point, because I know we'll be down there and all that. And our job as the player is to work our way down there. Once I get that. Yeah, so our job's to go down there and... yeah. Good thing about this is that it gives us these rocks, so we can take out the enemies with the rocks. I mean, albeit we can't just grab these guys and bash them off the ground, but part of the fun comes from using these rocks as weapons. And honestly, I don't feel that, like, for instance, there we just got the crossbow. It's not necessary. Because we've got, you know, it'd be better to utilise this gravity gun system a lot more instead of giving us all these weapons. It's just an idea. It's not a bad thing that these weapons are being given at the moment. Like, I'm not too concerned with that. But it's just, I think it'd be good in a lot of maps to to have more compatibility for the gravity gun. I don't know how effective. Yeah, it's quite effective. But yeah, there we go, another weapon. Anyway, I think it's called nitpicking what I'm doing, but now we can see where we, you know, our destination basically. I am struggling to get up here. There we go. Also, this is kind of a, you know, foreshadowing what is to come. We know that we're going to be fighting something big, i.e. a gunship. Or maybe not, that's the thing. If you know, if the mod offer were to alright. Yeah. If like mod offers find new ways of boss battles or whatever, that's always a bonus. I think in this one it was standard you know, gunship fight. As far as I can remember anyway. Alright, so it's good that these guys can kind of help. Oh yeah, it probably should have been slightly more clear that these guys were, you know, breaking through that door. I mean, I know it was kind of clear. Yeah, so here's the gunship I was talking about. Now, what? Okay, I didn't know about that. That was new. Yeah, so here it does make a noise that they're breaking through as it would normally do in these maps. So I didn't know that squad members could die. That was something that didn't happen to me the first time. Probably because I was just really good. And, you know, when I'm recording, my words get tangled. I become inadequate to speak properly. Anyway, this is a fairly simple gunship battle. Especially, ammo's here. The cover is close by. And, yeah, these guys can take it out. And we can push on. And these guys should follow. That guy should probably be over here. Oh no, it's this guy. I don't know why that guy's over there. And then we can go in and stuff happens. That map, the whole point, you know, the whole idea of extraction was, you know, like going and rescuing them and fighting alongside them is good. It's just, it wasn't intense enough in terms of, you know, it couldn't stand on its own 2 feet. Especially the battle, which the ammo was, you know, the gunship battle, the rockets were next to the cover basically. There could have been many different stages of the battle, like if you shoot the guy once then maybe he moves to a different position and you have to, you know, move elsewhere. Just anything like that would make it a bit more exciting for the player. Alright, so the next entry is Finale. Alright, so I can't remember who it was who's done this, but the mapper's been doing like a series of maps, like all 5 of the maps in all of the Hammer Cup 2017 are linked together, so this is kind of the end one. It is actually quite graphics intensive in many spots. I think the mapper's one-upped from memory. This bit wasn't actually obvious, and I actually forgot about it there. You expect something to happen. You can actually... I shot that guy, I was looking everywhere. You know, this hidden vent was kind of... probably should have been hidden. Initially. Yeah, this is like... really laggy. There's not a lot I can do about it. I guess I can... turn my settings down. I might do that, but then I'll forget. Never mind, I'll do it anyway. Alright, there we go. Now, it shouldn't, like, completely fix it, but hopefully it'll help a bit more. Did he just spawn? So this whole section basically is going to be like the main... the main zone for the map. And we actually use it in quite an interesting way where we're using these things as platforms. Now, I can't honestly remember what to do. Yeah, we're moving up. And then, so we're kind of learning what the deal is. We push the button, these things rise. And then we get attacked by a ton of enemies, which I think are below us. Actually, I think we've got to wait, if I can remember correctly. Again, I am sorry for it lagging. There is literally nothing I can do. But yeah, now we can jump across, so that's like a teaching, I guess you'll call it, a mechanic, kind of. I can't believe I'm so bad at this combat. Anyway.
You're the one that got us captured in the first place. Just push the button over there to get us out of here. I'll program the nearest teleporter to get us to the main hub.
Alright, so we did see the teleporter back there, so we can head back. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. Oh. Alright.
This facility stores the plans for the teleporter and our defenses. They're encrypted in a format the Combine can't understand, for now. I would speculate that Malachi is using all this data as leverage with the Combine. This is our only chance to wipe the data before they get a hold of it. You have a chance to redeem yourself. Don't fail us again. I'll just stay here and keep the teleporter hot.
So at this point, you know, you kind of want a bit more gameplay. Because, I mean, it is kind of trying to get all the narrative in, and it's fairly slow moving. Now, this bit's probably the worst for lag and all that. But we've learned that by pushing this button, this thing rises. How did that happen? I'm just trying to remember what to do now, because most of it is just fighting and guarding this button. Okay, so that's something you have to watch out for. The fact that it's going to completely engulf, well, everything. I did die, like, the first time, so that's why I had to go back and do it all again. But yeah, it kind of rises up a lot now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make all of these jumps because it's quite laggy, but we'll see. And that's basically what we've done there is what we're going to be doing basically for the large majority of the rest of the map. And we do it again, and yeah. And this battle does seem super linear, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I thought I saw another hunter, but... Anyway, we'll try and power through this. We've now got, you know, the secondary fire, which is really good. Alright, let's go for this. And this one's slightly different because we're right at the very top. This is like the final level. But again, this is very tedious. It's like there's not a lot else for us to do. Oh yeah, I remember one time, or at least, yeah, when I was playing this before, that thing exploded and I completely died. Now this bit, I actually cheated on the first time. We'll see if I do that. Actually, I think I can duck while still holding that thing. Oh. I kind of messed up. Yeah, you can. Okay, this bit's just stupid, where you're fighting the main boss, but there's still Combine being thrown at you in what could potentially be an impossible battle. And the thing is, I'm on easy here, right? And at this point, you know, you'd be thinking, well, surely I can destroy these guys forever, right? But nope. And God mode has been activated. Solely because I can't be bothered. You know. Well, no, wait, we got one. So yeah, so basically just to speed this up, the aim is just to stand in the same position, shoot this guy. A good solution to fixing this would be to have multiple turrets, I guess. I think anyway. Or yeah, multiple of these machine guns. And after you've hit him a couple of times, then he can destroy one of them, and you have to find your way to another one. Now I think this was some sort of choice, perhaps. Was it? I think the point is that you had to make a choice, but I can't remember. So yeah, I don't know what's happening. Okay, so I'll probably edit that one a lot, because there was a lot of issues and whatnot. That map was pretty stale. It could have had more, you know, gameplay in it, instead of just fighting. Overall, I think it's a noble attempt to create kind of a whole storyline for all the vills, and I highly commend the mapper for that. But, yeah, it could have been more dynamic, that map. Okay, I've changed the video quality back. We're now on houses. So immediately it shows kind of where we've been. This is where us as the player before the map starts has come from. Now technically that door shouldn't open. Or, you know, that texture for a door without a handle is for doors that can't open. Like, for instance, this door here. That's the correct use of the door. You can't get in that door. And if a player's walking by, they know for a fact they're not going to be able to get in that door. That's just an aside note to start off with. Once again, a hidden vent behind the box is risky to do. And it's good for kind of Easter eggs and secrets, but in terms of main progression, it's risky. Again, we see a door here that shouldn't, or you know, basically a door. It should actually be like a door with a handle, as opposed to looking like a door that can't be opened. I got stuck at that. I.e., I went back and I was like looking all around here. So there's a bit of jumping there. But then you walk into a room and there's 4 Metro cops firing at you. Actually, I suspect this is the way. Yeah. You know, this guy's standing right at the door, like he's practically right there when you come through ready to shoot. It's not fun nor thought-provoking, so it's one of these things that should be avoided at all costs. Anyway, we push the button and we can kind of see the bridge, you know, being created. So that's good. It's clear what it's doing. We also get given the gravity gun, which is really good. And we're back here. So we can use the gravity gun for all kinds of you know. I mean, it doesn't work too well. Actually, we could just cross it. It's not clear you could cross it. I was actually not sure about that both times. So just dispose of him over there. There's another one. And we see Dr. Kleiner has died. And this is where we were at the start. So we've come in a full circle, which is really good. And then that's it done. We're, you know, we're down. Overall, the map, obviously the directional issues with the doors could be fixed, but overall it tried its best to kind of include things for the player to do. And if it, you know, if the mapper were to build on that a lot more, then the map could have been like really, really good. So overall, it wasn't bad. It just needed cleaned up slightly in terms of gameplay. Right. Entry number 6 is called Slime Dump. Alright, so this place looks familiar, but I can't think why. It's probably like a place in real life, because this is the sort of place I live. Oh look, it's my house. So yeah, this guy's yeah, couldn't see us, so we could have easily have shot him first. I was actually just trying to. He's good. He's given up now. Oh. He baited me in there. So yeah, this this map has a lot of horror elements in it. It's got a chasm here with toxic slime in it. Remember what I was saying earlier? And that Combine soldier was using the toilet. Again, a lot of humour is good in these maps. A lot of visual humour. Actually, I don't think I noticed it last time there's Combine soldiers up there. Down here, there's something visual. That cave actually has a lot of charm to it. Like it makes the player want to explore it. It kind of has that sense of adventure. Incidentally, I thought we weren't actually going to go down there, which I thought would be a waste, but we do. So that's really good. But even just with like that light, it made it a lot more better. So here we have it's stealth on the lowest level possible, but still stealth nonetheless, and it's just better than having, you know, Combine soldiers facing you. I keep going on about it. I will continue to keep going on about it as long as it happens, and I'll continue to praise the maps that do it properly. Alright. I was saying, I can't remember what map it was, but including like ways for the player to dispose of enemies, having these razor blades with you know, with the gravity gun is a super fun way of doing it. That's why Ravenholm was such a, I guess, iconic level in Half-Life. Okay, so I guess we'll just cross this bridge. Alright. So this place is actually like... It has a lot of atmosphere in it. And I don't know if we'll be able to move that. Nope. But yeah, that's what this, you know, this part of this map does well, or this, you know, these two maps, is that it builds up an atmosphere in this area, and you know, paces these enemies out fairly well. So it's not like you're constantly having to fight all the time. You know, you get kind of a wave, and then you move a bit further on, and there's also, you know, stuff to do. And I guess puzzles on the lowest level. For instance here, actually I'll probably deal with these head crabs, because the good thing about these head crabs is they're annoying and they can really throw the player off. Yes, I know I'm bad at this. Oh. I'll just take all these guys out. Incidentally, the thing I don't get is the fact that this car still has a light on. I mean, how did it even get here? I mean, are these toxic pools usually water? How did it come off that bridge? How long has it been down here? Because it looks like it's been a while. It's continuity and stuff like that that bothers me about these maps. Or it's just a little nitpick. Right. Onto the important stuff. We're still kind of being guided around this route. And that leads us up here to the airboat. And this guy. Which we can now climb in, and there's an airboat ride which you don't see very often. Now, first time, I think I went away down there. There might be like an Easter egg down there. I'm not going to bother showing it because it's completely irrelevant in like the grand scheme of everything. And we have, not just are we driving this airboat, we have a risk, a danger. So once I get the hang of this, we will be off. And it has all of the kind of the cool quirks that the airboat in Half-Life 2 had. You know, like just back there when the Combine dropped, you could run them over. So now we go into that cave that I was talking about earlier, and there was so much anticipation going into this cave because, you know, I was wanting to know what was in here. Yeah. Alright, so change onto map 2. This map was a bit of a wasted opportunity in my opinion. So initially, you go up here. I think there's another guy in there somewhere. Yeah, there he is. We'll just take on these guys down here. And actually, these caves are rarely done in, you know, these kind of mapping challenges because they're allegedly really difficult to do. So I have to highly commend the mapper for being able to do them. I mean, I know they were back in the first map as well, and there was a lot of atmosphere surrounding that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I should be in there. As far as I can remember, anyway. Alright, so we go through here, that's what we have to do. And that leads out here. Actually, I do think it's possible. Yeah, it's possible to just, like, head through there with your bolt. So then at this point, it's find the way out, basically. So by that, we've got to abandon the airboat. We could go along there and get these things. Or we could just push on to the end, and that's what I'm going to do. You know, and this map doesn't really... You know, this second map doesn't really do justice to the whole map as a whole. It could have ended with a fairly big boss fight. Or, you know, not a boss fight, or just something, a bigger challenge to do. But you literally push the button, the thing opens, you're free for no particular reason at all, and then I don't know what happens. Yeah, it ends. Now, with the time that was made making this map, a smaller map, I'm sure, you know, and this is just me speculating, a smaller map could be made that would mean more fun to play. Like, it didn't need to be that long. It could have had more content and could have been much better for the player. But overall, that wasn't a bad entry either. That had a lot of good elements in it, certainly. So that was Slime Dump.